Not Steph Curry. I'm not. Yeah. That is not your game, sir. Over.
Smooth.
And good evening, Miniverse. This is Tim and Canton coming to you from my basement. Those are not the actual sneakers in the background, but it is my background. I want to welcome everybody to tonight's behind the scenes of what Ted has named. What was it, Ted?
Beyond the basket, the win for cinema, something along those lines.
A Minifan perspective. So what we thought we'd do is just get some of the Minifans that were fortunate enough to be on the periphery of the game from the other night where KMS kicked the shit out of the babies from Barstool, New York, and just share some of the insights that we saw, some of the funny things we noticed, some of the odd things, quirky things that we happen to be privy to that people may not be aware of that were either happening during the game, before, or after the game. So along with me is Ted Sellers, who everybody should know. Kane, who's serving two purposes tonight. One is Kane, what was your role? Stats,
I guess, but it's going to morph into something else, I think, because there was a lot of we'll talk about it in the show. I'm sorry.
Okay. And
stats.
And also Bobby Costa is on an insane run at trivia. What's he going for, 46-0 tonight, or 47-0? And so he couldn't make it. But he did specifically ask that Kane be his understudy and share his insights. Kane, how's that make you feel?
Hey, let's do it.
All righty. And then, of course, we get Josh and James, the announcing duo. Boys, thanks for joining.
Yes,
we have a couple other guests. I don't think you guys will be surprised. Brando was invited, but he's late. So whenever Brando gets here, we'll have him jump in as well. And then we've got everybody
for the course.
Right. And then we've also got another fan favorite, Nipples, otherwise known as Gearhead Mike, is going to jump in and talk about what he was doing and what he saw. So I just want to kick it off with some of the things that I noticed. I'm a total Kemp, so I don't think anybody would be shocked to know that I got there around 4:30
the day before.
Slept out slept out in line. My role was to Dave gave me the camera and he said, just go around and film everybody. Just look for things that are not centered on the basketball game. That's what he had covered. Oh, look who's here. It's Brando. Thanks for joining, buddy.
You motherfucker.
Right.
I mean, come on. You didn't see that setup from a mile away.
You got me, Tim. You got me. I was not expecting that one.
You were actually early too. So,
let the record show I was on time.
No, you were early. You were actually early, but you didn't have to drive anywhere, so maybe that's why. My role.
Good Brando stuff when we get there. I got some good Brando stuff from pregame. So
good. That's what this is about. So I went around and part of what I did was Dave was looking for basically a B-roll, and so I got everybody. I tried to get everybody each individual as they walked in. And I think we captured everybody, got a few fans in particular that I'm going to talk about. And then just hung around and was filming the guys on the sideline, filming the team. I was behind the team. I was behind the scorer's desk. Got behind the crowd for I definitely got some good video of some of the shit that was happening on the court over in the corner while I was in there, because the camera Dave has just, it can't reach that far. And then, so talk a little bit about what I saw during, and then post game I'll come back and talk about, but I definitely have something to share about one Chris Clemmer's comments post game. Talk about raw. But what I just would kick off with is, this couldn't have made me happier. Take a wild guess who showed up together.
I'm gonna guess it's on my screen, the top left box and the top right box.
You would be right. I love these guys. I love their friendship. They came in smiling.
The best is they left to go to like a car together at one point.
Well, I was going to.
That is true.
That is true. We talked at first when they came in. They gave some nice sentiment. Everybody gave awesome sentiments about what the game meant. Especially the team. They were very serious. There was no fucking around, no joking. They were all very serious, and they all understood why they were there. It was very impressive. But Josh and James arrived together. And James, when I asked for these guys to give a comment, like a true pro, James throws it right to Josh first. And then at one point I was outside waiting for people, and I thought you guys were just in a walk chatting about the game. But apparently, what happened? There was something wrong with one of you guys.
Yeah, I put my keys in my back pocket and then my water bottle, and then it just started my car up. So I can't go check alone. I need Josh to help me out. So.
Wow.
Now,
I would have expected them to show up on a tandem bike, but
that's a summertime thing. And I'm not going to say whether or not it was captured on film, you guys walking back pinky and pinky, but it was a beautiful moment.
I loved when they walked away, though. Tim literally looked at me and he was like, I love that. They just go everywhere together. I love that.
And they're great guys. We've had a beer together after being at the studio. They're just good guys.
When you see them, you know it's a big game. You know it's a big game when you see these guys getting in the booth. So
yeah, and then the last two quick things, and then I'll kick it over to Ted and Kane. The entrances, like I'd mentioned, as people coming in, everybody had something to say about what that game meant to them. And it was I really hope that Dave can get around to making some sort of behind the scenes, because it was really nice what people had to say. And then the last thing was while the team was warming up, before people got there were a couple of clinics going on the courts right next door. I'd say, well, I definitely know one was second graders because of what happened, but at one point KMS was just taking some shots. All of a sudden it's just getting louder and louder between one guy and the owner of Vail, and then one of the coaches on the second grade court. This guy was getting into a shouting match with the coach, to the point where the coach is saying, we're going outside. I left the camera on at my side, was recording the whole thing because I was praying it would be a fist fight. But the owner is smart enough to take the parent outside to try to diffuse the situation, took him outside, came back in. Parent took the kid, said, let's go, we're leaving, and they booted out of there, get off the court. So I don't know exactly what happened, something about getting pushed down, but I was praying for a big second grade fight. A fight of second grade parents, but it didn't happen. So Ted and Kane subbing in for Bobby. You guys kicked off the pregame show. So what were some of the observations that you guys had that people might not be aware of?
Yeah, so when I first got there, it was probably just about an hour before what was supposed to be the tip-off. But of course, right when I got there, Tim, Josh, and James, and Bobby, were already all there, and had filled me in that not only is New York now looking like they're going to show up like just before the game starts, but we played everybody's favorite game, Where's Brando? So Brando lives the closest, nowhere to be seen. Justin, at one point, literally comes up to me. I'm doing the, you ready for tonight, big guy, and everything like that. He's like, I really would love a water right now. And I shit you not, this happened. And I go, well, I think I have actually one in my bag. He goes, I cannot drink water that the manager did not provide. Like, that's how, his mindset was.
Did we ever get to the bottom why Brando was late?
Yeah, so he literally hadn't drank water for hours, and probably other members of the team, too. And they were just waiting for Brando to show up, and he was nowhere to be seen.
So they were dehydrating.
They were dehydrating. Yes.
Turning into prunes or raisins, whatever it is.
And
Brando?
Brando.
Anything to say about that?
I have a few things to say.
There you go.
I'm tempted to, defend myself, and I have plenty of excuses at the ready. But for
Do you have any explanations?
Well, my first explanation is I think I'm the only person that's not in the group chat for the team. So generally, the producers.
Boy.
The producers.
I want to stop him right there because none of us are in the group chat for the
Well,
team.
we're not on the
all
team.
There.
We're not on the team. He's the team manager.
That's
right.
That
and
is
Ted,
weird,
do you drive yourself, Ted?
No, Mrs.
And
Ted brought me.
You were there an hour? Okay.
It was just a breezy 2.5 hour drive.
I'm an observer. That's all. I'm pointing out facts. Okay. All right, Brando.
Actually worked that day too.
For me, 50 minutes before something starts is insanely early. So I thought I did really good. But when I started getting DMs at about 6 o'clock saying ETA, I was like, what the hell is going on? Multiple people DMing me. I'm like, am I late right now? I thought, 45 minutes before for the water boy, I thought was pretty good. But Yeah, I guess I gotta be earlier than that. I've always had issues with being on time. We saw that at the tryouts.
That's true.
I
It's
had
a
worked
pattern.
I worked the night before and
This
stuff
one.
like that for the tryouts, so I had a
Oh, here we go.
semi-legitimate
All
excuse
right,
then.
We're getting
But
into
trust me, I will be very
Commonwealth of
early.
excuses.
I will
Brendo,
be.
are you still the team manager? There's been a lot of additions to the team. Chris Clemmer is now the GM. It's it's ultimately up to Kirk, but do you think Clemmer is going to influence Kirk to make a change in management, team management?
If he does, I would be disappointed. But whatever decision that the
Brando's
team
sole
makes,
goal should just be to remain on the bench. Just find a way to stay on. You know what I mean? You get that front row seat. You got to be there cheering for the team. You gotta figure out a way to just stay on that bench. Don't want to bully you off of there, Brando.
well,
It's not about that, Kane. It's just about being
Part of
on
the
time
team
and
now.
having water. It's very easy.
yeah, don't you
That's
worry. This game will be catered. I've already started arranging it, and I will be collecting the
Catered.
water from the Poland Springs in Maine, and
Brando,
I'll bring it down to Connecticut.
An
So
observation I did have was just being down at the corner trying to film the guys who, by the way, not one guy on the team sat down the entire game. Not one. And I'm talking about these guys being gassed when they came off the court, grab a water, and they're right back screaming for the rest of it. It was awesome to see. But Brando, the water and the ice was creating puddles on the court at one point. So just say not just mentioning might want to not have them in ice or just put them to the side so there's no water on the court, so there's no injuries. It's a big game coming up August 4th.
He's saying just have a better plan next time. Let's simplify.
Gotcha. So whatever I did, do the opposite is pretty much what I'm doing.
So Brando luckily did show up a little after 7, but he showed up.
6:42.
Got water to the team, and then it was showtime. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Cully. I know he takes a bad rap, and people like shitting on him for anything production related. But a couple good ideas that came up right before pregame were to do some interviews that we could throw to during the game. So I know James did one before the game with Kirk, and that was just good to help break up like the pregame broadcast. And also getting the one that Bobby did with it was a Coleman, right?
Coleman, yeah. Coleman.
So that was good. Helped break up kind of like just us being on screen for the 20 minutes. A really funny moment during the pregame, though. There were actually 2 that I want to highlight. So Rico Bosco came over at one point, didn't realize that we were actually on camera because it was when the interview was kind of finishing up with Kirk, and we actually tried to get him to come on the air, and he was about to, and then he had some sort of second thought, and he was like, nah, fuck it, and he kind of walked away. And so we ended up kind of trashing him when we got on. But
do you think it was he didn't want to get too close to the KMS team and invade that space, or
I don't know. I think if he could do it again after he saw Clemmer come over and kind of yuck it up with us for a little while, I think he would have realized it was just kind of a tongue-in-cheek, super
and Bobby's
serious,
question was, what did he think was going to happen? Question mark. It was a good question.
Yeah, I can't explain. Maybe he just thought it was a no-win situation for him. I don't know. I don't want to speak.
Well, maybe he thought Gus was going to pop out of somewhere and take him out at the knees. Hey, Kane, anything that Bobby had that that he had to note?
And this was interesting to me too. I didn't realize how many guys were back there for the pregame speech. How many non-players?
I was filming. I think Josh and James. Were you guys in there?
No, we were there when we signed the poster and stuff, and then when we did the interview. But I heard them I was going to the bathroom at the same time, and I heard them going in, clapping, getting ready. I didn't hear the speech though.
You know what? I think Bobby was in there, Kane. I think Bobby was in there taking some notes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. So he basically was saying how the different side of Kirk in the pregame speech, his emotions were high, vibe with him, and the plays were solemn. Felt like a night before an Apollo mission. I mean, that must have been in fucking unbelievable speech. And I could just picture it.
Great description. It was not tense. It was anticipation, pent up energy. These guys were pumped. Kirk gave. I'm not going to give details. That's for them to give the details. but that pregame and the halftime talk was fucking A+. The
Can you give
halftime
us
talk,
anything, like any kind of anything that would be like just kind of something that would surprise us in the
I don't think you'd be surprised. It got everybody focused, got everybody on the same page. The guy is an incredible coach. Reviewed some things with with a few of the guys. Made sure everybody understood their role. The halftime was, I can't thank Kirk enough for letting me be there to witness it. It was awesome. They were, you guys saw them running in there. They were so pumped up, and then he gave them a speech that when they came out there, I thought they were going to run through a wall. That's how that they were locked in. Like there was no way they were going to lose that game, and they were down at halftime, 15-2. No,
not at halftime.
No, not halftime. 15.
At one point,
They were down
11, I think.
Yeah.
They were
Well,
down
15-11
4
at half.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
15-11, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
To be quite
Yeah.
honest, that should be just between the players and whoever was there. Just
Yep.
leave it at that.
Yep.
It was one of
Yep.
those deals.
That was an incredible moment for sure.
It was insane. Kane, anything else from Bobby?
He was just questioned why Bosco didn't decline the interview, which seems kind of weird that he did. Seems like an easy spot for him. They also asked about a PA announcer. When John and Warren for 3. I don't know. I think he was looking for a PA announcer. I'm not sure. That kind of makes sense, I guess.
Well, the two that would be able to do it were on the court too. That would be and Gus, right? All right, thanks, Kane, for that. And Brando. So actually, let's go to Josh, and James had to jump off for a minute. So, Josh, what about you? Behind the scenes stuff that you saw that people might not be aware of?
Yeah, so kind of similar to what Ted was talking about during the game, like jet ski. I mean, he was all over the place.
Which one is jet ski? I don't know. I don't know most of
I'm
them.
pretty sure he had a headband on. Yeah, he was like a loose cannon.
The crazy guy, the one I was.
Okay, all right. He kept
was
jarring,
Steve.
right? Every time someone would happen, he's
Yes.
yelling.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He was
okay. Yeah.
like irate after the half court shot, and he was looking at me and James like we were like the replay booth, like, and we're like,
Like you're
what are we
make it
gonna
fall.
give you? But it would be like after any big play, like I don't think the cameras like were able to catch it, but he would like come over to our like booth and would be like what just happened? Like are you gonna let that slide? And like I'm looking at James like what are we? We're just calling the game.
Yeah,
But he was an
all over
interesting
the place.
character.
Yeah. And James, what about you?
Sorry,
Just
what
some
I
takeaway-
missed part.
Takeaways that you had from behind the scenes. You guys were sitting there and calling the game, but I believe there were a couple people sitting next to you guys, not Minifans on the other side. Did you guys get to interact with them?
Nipples?
No, on the other side. The what were they doing? The scoreboard?
Oh no, we didn't. It was the same girls last time though. But just like the overall, when we walked in, you could just feel it. Like it just felt bigger. I mean, obviously for cinema, like that's totally different. But it was like when we were calling the game, I was talking to Josh today about it. Like I was like so excited. I was like fist pumping during the game. Like I had never done that. Like and just like being in the locker room with those guys, like for a team that hadn't won a game, they weirdly knew they were going to win the game. Like there was no doubt. And it's just crazy. Like Kirk, it was the ultimate Kirk Minahan guarantee, and they came through.
They were so dialed in. I
just wanted to say I think that was my favorite sporting event I've ever been to. And like I know like people that didn't go or like aren't even like fans of the show like might not understand that, but like from start to finish, like when they all booed the Barstool New York team as they entered,
that was great.
It literally like felt like it was like Cena versus Rob Van Dam at Hammerstein Ballroom, and it was just like you don't have one friend here. Like sorry, like and then Clemmer walked in after, and the boos were even louder, and it's just like so that's how tonight's gonna go. Kind of feeling,
Do you think? Do you think there are any of the guys on the Barstool New York team that don't really know the KMS world? Like some, obviously Rico does and Marty. And
so it was surprising to me how much Marty Mush like actually seemed to like be aware of like
he knew Kevin's
KMS
video. I was shocked about that.
Yeah, he'd made a comment while he was on the court.
Yeah.
I think he leaned over and said, "Love your
Great
shower
videos, by the way.
Yeah, I'll give him and like Rico credit for that night because they both like went out of their way to like come over to like the tables
That's
and
true.
like say hi to us and things like that. I don't think everybody on the team is like fully aware of the KMS universe or like some of the ancillary characters that are in it, but they definitely were. You could just tell like they knew who
or even
people were
they
and
know.
things like that.
I think I got the feeling a couple of them just knew that Kirk has a show on the and he works for
crazy
Barstool,
fans,
but not
fans
I think they knew to be prepared for some loose cannons and that like things are going to get chippy at some point. But I don't think any of them fully expected the way the crowd was going to react that night. I truly don't. I think they had fun with it as it was like unfolding, but I don't think any of them actually thought that it was going to be that type of atmosphere when they, were going to go play that game.
I agree.
It definitely got to them. I think it got to them. Like after that 15, when they had a little comeback, I think they were really rattled.
I will say, sorry, Tim, I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Go ahead.
When it went 15
just riffing,
to 2,
man, just riffing.
When it went 15-2, I was down in like the bottom left corner of the court. So Barstool, New York, during the first half is shooting like right in front of me on that hoop. And Bobby Costa was down there with me. And Rico does the steal right in front of us, hits the 3. They call timeout. It's 15-2. Everybody there is at their like lowest point that they're going to be at like the rest of the night. And obviously the thoughts of like, is this going to happen again kind of thing, like start creeping in. And as they come out of the timeout and start playing again, I hear like a whistle and like, hey. And I look up and it's Rico on the bench and he's like pointing like at the corner right in front of me. He's like, you like that? And he like hits me with like a little like switch thing. And I was like, all right, Rico, that's fair enough. And then throughout the rest of the game, every time that like that ending of the first half 3, I made sure to like point him out to him. And, you could tell it definitely started to get to him in the second half.
Well, he barely played, right? Hey, Brando, what about you and Kane and John? If you want to bring in Nipples, Brando, what about you? Observations that you had behind the scenes? I mean, you're the team manager, so you definitely, you were in the locker room.
He was in that iconic photo too, Brando. Great job, buddy. That's a great photo. The one when everybody's
Kirk with them all hugging.
He's hugging Cinnamon's father, and you're like, just
and I'm like ugly crying or whatever I'm doing. As far as Rico goes, yeah, he did come up to everyone beforehand, but I was calling him Terry towards the end of the game. I was screaming, "You don't want any of this, Terry," kind of stuff like that. I was trying to do my best to keep the vibes up on the sideline, but I mean, you could have cut the tension in that gym with a knife. It was so incredibly intense. You had the Minifans on the other side of us. You had, 1 or 2 rows worth of people on the balcony, and
that was crazy.
It was one of the craziest moments upstairs I've ever been a part of in my entire life. It's right up there with winning a state championship, as a wrestler in high school. And I think it may even have surpassed that.
There we go.
As a team, but
just fussing you for.
Yeah, playing sports is cool.
When I'm wrestling, I actually get to be a participant, but it was just amazing, and it showed sorry, and it just showed why the Minifans are the best, because everyone showed out and it was intense, and I can tell you those guys did not want to be in there. They did not want to be in the same court as this team, and the team was in their head almost immediately.
Aside from team members, because Coleman, I think it takes him 4 hours to come up. Does anybody know how far any of the Minifans drove? Like, was there somebody who drove 5 hours, 6 hours to be there? I'm curious. I know there were Minifans who drove 3.5, 4 hours to get there. Yeah, just to be there.
I'd say 3 hours was probably 3.5. Some people.
Yeah,
I think almost everybody was at least 2 hours, probably 60%.
It's a hike, unless you lived in Connecticut. And we'll talk about one of the guys from Connecticut. I'm sure I want to get into that with you, Tim. That was a weird scene by Andy Mayo, no?
All right, so here's
Let's get right there. Go
what do you
ahead,
mean
sorry.
outside when Mayo was coming
No,
in?
he just didn't. He didn't go up to anybody.
Oh,
Did
no,
you know
so
he was there?
He doesn't do that.
No,
Why?
actually, all right. This is going to
He's
shock the
definitely
world.
afraid. He's definitely afraid of someone
No,
ruining his life.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best bit
on
running.
live
Don't
shows.
ruin it.
Mayo likes to be off by himself, but this may shock you, Kane. I got Mayo while I was waiting outside. Mayo was coming in, and Captain Critique. I'm like, here we go. He's got to have something to say, right? Mayo had nothing but nice things to say. Yep.
I believe it. I'm not
Yeah.
shocked.
It was and well, I think he understood the moment, and I asked him, do you want to share anything? And he just said some nice things about cinema, how much he was looking forward to the game. He had didn't he have a what do you call it?
He had a Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian
on,
shirt,
and
yeah.
cargo shorts.
Yeah. So no, he was and well then of course then he turned into Mayo apparently because didn't he have a complaint about something like that?
Naturally.
Right, but yeah, he had nice things to say on the way in. What Kane and Nipples? What did you guys see behind the scenes? Kane, I heard something about checking for stats and being a little behind on it. Who brought that?
Yeah, well, it's you know what? I'll be honest. I don't know if it's tough to get all the stats as one person. I think it's a 2-man job. I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad Nipples was there because without Nipples, it's like a little like you're trying to catch rebounds and points, and like as soon as they're going up the other side, you might miss a steal. So I think you kind of need 2 people. But the stats, to be honest, Tim, I don't think is the real issue. I think what I was under the impression was that these refs were gonna count the fouls and keep that in their head, and nobody really was doing that. I don't think they had any idea who had how many fouls people had. When
I did notice they kept coming to the table asking the table.
They were
Thinking
for
that you
us.
guys were, that
I'm
you
like,
guys
so
were.
maybe we need to shift to that model so we make sure we know people, who has the fouls and who doesn't, and it's more accurate because I didn't know they were going to go to one,
1-on-1 and the
1-on-1.
Yeah.
Have they ever done that in any other game that they've played, the 1-on-1? I don't remember seeing that.
I don't know.
So
I
didn't
think there was
know
a
they-
couple of
The
times.
Hingham League.
Yeah.
The Hingham League does it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've
did
been doing
it.
that, but yeah, they didn't communicate like any.
was
Yeah, like
weird.
Kane said, like I didn't know who the foul was on. I didn't even know how many team fouls anybody had. That's
That's what
why
I
I
mean.
kept asking, like, is
I
it a
think that's what we need to
1-on-1
do
or
next
they
time
shoot
is
two-
kinda-
yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that
know
under
that-
control.
I mean, it's no one's fault, but I know the refs are dealing.
Well, the
with
refs should.
too,
I
but-
don't know why they're coming to
Yeah.
us. I'm like, aren't you the fucking ref? I don't know.
Well,
I guess,
I wonder if they were enjoying the game more than I'm
Yeah,
the same. You
exactly.
get lost in the
Yeah.
game, right? That you're supposed to be scoring or something.
I think
Um,
the refs did a great job.
yeah,
So,
I
now,
think
I
they
don't
were
know.
fantastic.
So one of the refs was at the tryouts. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
You talk,
Yeah.
the,
Played
the
with
one
me
with
in
the
the two
black
on-
hair, right?
He
Yeah.
played with me in the
He was
2-on-2.
going at
He was the
Brando.
taller guy. Yeah, he was mad because I was bad.
So don't you?
He was
you know,
chirping
wasn't-
you, I think, right?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
like,
he's got
yeah,
balls in
he
the
was
house.
he was getting annoyed with me during our 2-on-2.
So if it wasn't Rico's argument that the guy went to the tryouts, so wouldn't he be kind of pissed that he didn't make the team and hold it
Right.
against?
He was.
Kirk?
He
I
was
mean,
definitely
Barstool,
bitter because-
Like a
Maybe.
begrudging person that got fired from a company, he'd be more likely to go against Kirk, I think, than go for him.
Just observing the bench on their side, observing just the guys on the team. There's a difference between being aggressive during the game and trying to get calls and being babies. They were just I was surprised at how whiny they were the whole game. Just
well,
most of that
Marty
team.
should be like really happy, shouldn't he?
Marty
Like,
wasn't
honestly,
bad,
Marty couldn't play any fucking worse. It couldn't happen.
but he
So,
wasn't. He
He
actually
should be
wasn't
happy
a
enough that the
whiner.
next game can't play any worse. So I mean,
Was
they were
Ironically,
horrible.
it was Pat that was, I think, whining the most right
Yeah.
after his viral video about
He's
the baby
the,
on the flight.
That's
You know
the
how they are.
tall drink again.
Yeah.
That's him,
They
right?
missed a lot of bunnies in that game. I mean, the fact that they came back and won that, I couldn't. It was an unbelievable moment.
That
Unbelievable.
Pat missed layup was criminal.
Yeah.
Like that's when I was like, "Holy shit! They actually really might do this."
You know what I was
Yeah.
thinking
If they're
about,
gonna
Tim,
miss
as I
shit
was
like
sitting
that.
there? Like I was thinking, like the other people that were just in there, like with their kids, whatever. What the fuck must they have thought what was going on in there?
Yeah,
It was
that
intense.
I would
Like I
would
didn't
love.
see anything else other than that game. It was like it felt like you were in a real.
I agree.
championship
I
game, you know?
would have loved to
How'd
have
that feel?
just a couple of parents come over and talk to like Josh and James or Ted and Bobby and just give their insight. Like,
And when Kirk said it's the
why
greatest
are all you
moment in show
lunatics
history,
here?
and
Or
like the
Rimo.
fact, how do you miss that? I'm surprised
Rimo,
more people
great guy.
aren't there. It's shocking to me. It's such an event.
Well, before we get to, go ahead.
Sorry, kind of going off Kane's point here, and we were talking about the booze, man. Wait till Portnoy's there. That place is gonna be jammed with Minute fans. They better boo the shit out of him.
Needs to be packed.
Do you think
There's definitely going to be Barstool fans though too there?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Do you
be
think
wild.
for the game? Do you think with Portnoy there, they're gonna have all three courts, so maybe they put more stands, or do you think they're just gonna have?
I think they're going to have to do something.
Well, they didn't they say today on the show that they were going to make accommodations just for the basketball game, the KMS team, I would say, because basically it's KMS. That's who drive. I don't think there's going to be that many Barstool specific fans.
Well,
It's
there's
gonna be
Dave's going, though,
KMS.
you know?
I was about to
That's
say,
huge
like,
draw.
Portnoy's going to be somewhere, so people are just going to show up to try to like.
It
interact
could
with
turn
him.
into some kind
Oh,
of
sure,
weird
there'd be
rally,
more
too.
than they
You never
were.
know what this could be. Could go nuts.
I think it'll be mostly KMS though.
So I'm just looking at the sheet that we put together. So a couple things I want to just call out that you guys put in here. I'll wait for Clemmer. Oh, I have some insight on the Steve from Gloucester non-invite, by the way.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
That's nice.
Why
Why wouldn't you want to invite Steve? Such a nice guy.
Josh, you put on here. Let's see, refs before the game. Was there something in particular that you noticed, or that they were saying?
Kind of what James was talking about. I don't know. It was the ref who had been during the tryouts. He was super bitter. Like he was taking shots with Rico. I don't know if you guys knew that or like saw that. Like obviously the cameras didn't pick it up like before the game, but he was like really like, and he kept telling us like, he used to play and stuff like that. So I don't know. He definitely seemed pretty bitter about it. I think he even might have made a joke, James, like kind of playing, like poking at, like, oh, I'm not like people think I'm going to be calling it for the Minifan or for KMS, but I'm not just a Minifan. Like I don't know, it was kind of weird, but
so they kind of popped the Rico balloon argument about.
I remember actually at the tryouts he mentioned that he knew Rico and he was kind of friends with him through his college days.
Yeah, he said to us.
Wonderful.
Yeah, sorry, Tim.
No,
he said to us, he's like, I could drop 40 in this game if I wanted to. Isn't that right?
Awesome.
He said, isn't that right? And the bigger ref was like, yeah, he's really good. And he's like, yeah, the suicides got me in practice, but I'm in basketball shape. I play every game all the time.
Then he said something like, he was like, the suicides, like that doesn't mean anything. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't know about you, James, but I'm like, you need cardio.
Yeah.
That's great.
Definitely means something.
And I'm curious about this note from James, watching Mutt and Gus shoot together. What's that? What's that?
Yeah, I was watching them warm up, and like Mutt was trying to pass it to him. Gus was going one way, and then they were like kind of. It was a little messy, but
discombobulated.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know which way Gus is going. So
I don't think this is talking out of school. Kirk touched on it this morning. So in the locker room, I was just trying to go around and get each individual, and they, nobody's really saying anything. You guys were in there pregame. They were quiet. They were getting ready. Gus was like a freaking meth tweaker with a bag full of I don't know what. There was he had this package. I said, "Is that a drug paraphernalia kit? Like a shoot up kit or whatever they call it?" And he's like, "No, it's a massager." And he was and he's doing these stretches. I'll give him credit. I mean, he's doing these stretches. I don't know what he was stretching, but he was bent in all different ways. He couldn't sit still for 5 seconds.
One of a kind.
And when I say tweaker, it's because unfortunately, we've seen people like this. Like I last time I was at South Station, I watched this woman go in and out of her bag 50 zillion times while I was waiting to get the train for 20 minutes. It's put something down, pick it up, pick it back up, go put it down, look through her bag, pick it back up. It's obviously drug induced or the after effects of it, right?
Yeah.
And Gus was taking things out, putting it back, take it back out, put it back in. I was getting tired filming him with all his movement while everybody else is kind of, quietly stretching, getting their thoughts together. He just, that's just him, that's what makes him Gus. He couldn't stop moving. So that's why I was curious about that comment of them shooting quote unquote together. James, you had Coleman and Gus passing to each other and you put, I believe.
I think it was Gus. He's just everywhere. And yeah, they were on the other side. When they came back out, they were shooting on like the court behind. Yeah, I just felt like everywhere I looked, Gus was there. Like he was in the locker room. He was in the corner with his headphones, doing, like you said, doing some.
He
weird
did.
stuff.
Yeah, he would have the headphones on, then he'd take them out and he'd do the what?
Yeah. I also caught Pat Ford talking. I didn't catch him, but he was talking about his lawn or something, or landscaping.
He's
and
obsessed.
Kurt said,
he's obsessed.
Yeah, like, what are you saying? And he said something about his lawn, and Kurt wanted nothing. He wanted nothing to do with it.
So Spaces Ford at one of the practices was there early, and I was there early. So we're just chit-chatting in the parking lot. I will tell you, I'm jealous. He had rented a Bobcat because he's doing some work in his yard, and he was showing me the video. I seriously was considering asking if I could go back to his house and just drive that thing around for like 3 or 4 hours. It looked like a blast. But he did say he's obsessed with I think I don't know how it started out. Maybe he was just trying to repair it, and he just said screw it, and he's like ripping up the entire lawn and doing the whole thing over. So and he was very happy after the game. Again, it will probably, I think it's on film, but he did make a couple comments about looking forward to getting back on Spaces, which was nice to see.
He's back. He's back on.
He's back.
All the way in.
What's James Muffin? You have a note in here, Muffin.
Oh, that was
Oh
hilarious.
yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I'm always looking at the other team, see what they're doing before, and that team was
that's
definitely not organized, not ready. I don't want to have to go after Coach Clemmer because he's on KMS now, but I just, like, in a weird way, they just definitely weren't ready. But yeah, then that kid, who was it, Hubs?
Yeah, it was Hubs, definitely.
Hubs. He just started eating a muffin on the court, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It just caught me off guard, and I was like, I gotta mention this during the game. It was so bizarre.
That's what I was trying to avoid with my managerial stuff. I didn't want people to get too many carbs in, get tired.
Right.
I wanted them to be fresh.
There you go. Perfect.
That's how you do it.
Perfect, Brando.
That's why he decided to be late. He didn't trust himself not feeding the team.
Yeah.
So
That's what it was.
we're gonna wrap up in the next few minutes, but now post game, did everybody? You guys, yeah, I think all you guys pretty much hung around a little bit post game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a funny Kane moment
boy.
post game. So everybody celebrates. Obviously, Kirk does. Like, actually, before we do that, right after the post game, so where me and Bobby Costa were watching the game, there were these 3 very annoying teenagers. I tweeted about this, but I need to tell about these people. So they were very annoying teenagers that showed up around halftime. And they were literally just like the biggest Rico fans. And they were like, oh my God, it's like Marty Bush. And like, they were just like fangirling over Barstool. So like every time Rico went remotely near them, and he ignored their existence the entire time, which was hilarious. But they were like, you got him, Rico. Let's go, Bosco. And like, they're just the whole time. And at one point when Kirk was shooting free throws late in the game, they literally screamed as he was shooting the first free throw. Kirk ended up missing it and like shot them a look. And then, like, hit the next one, and the rest of the game plays out, and they're, like, chirping Kirk the whole time. And Kirk obviously loses his mind when we win. Everybody's running around. Kirk makes a beeline over to them and gives out the greatest fuck you in these 3 kids' faces, like an inch away from their face. And they literally look so horrified that this is happening.
Got the heat.
And me and Bobby Costa are just like, yeah, like flipping them off, like right next to him as it's happening. And then they just exit the gym. It was the greatest moment.
They've been exposed. Anybody else with post game before we get wrapped up?
I think
Well, I just got the Kane thing.
I was hoping you forget.
Almost Kane train.
So I go over to like the bench, say like congratulations to everybody, and then I go by Kane. I'm like, so how'd the stat keeper go tonight? And he's flipping like through his notebook. He's like, I'm missing a free throw. I'm like, you had one job.
I'll tell you, that was very tough because, like Kane said, he's trying to do He's trying to do the expanded stats and everything, and the refs kept on coming over. And at one point, I'm looking at him, and we're just like, were we supposed to be keeping the New York stats too? Because that was the whole thing with the fouls. And I know for a fact that both teams probably had a few more fouls where to get into the one. And
We
one.
helped.
Yeah,
We did a little
helped.
something.
But it was, and I was having trouble with so I had the electronic scorekeeper for the bug on the thing, and I was too far away from the lady who was actually keeping the actual score. So I'm trying to go over to her to see when she's putting in the, the stop and the go and everything. That's why I kept on moving behind you guys. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I told Dave if we're doing it next time, I'm going to sit next to her. Maybe her and me and Kane can kind of sit over there because I'm able to keep the time exactly, but we're also able to really, now that we know we're going to have to do, the other.
And also, Tim, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm a little short. So everybody was kind of like standing
Listen,
up.
I didn't know.
Fucking see anything.
We're looking at
crazy.
each other in the eyes, buddy. So I know
It's
what
crazy.
you're
And I want to say one other thing is
I did see you standing up quite a bit. I get it. I'm with you. I'm challenged that way too, Ted. No offense, but
I want to say
like.
one other thing about the two guys at the top. Listening to those guys actually call while you're sitting there is kind of a surreal fucking moment. Honestly, to be honest, you guys, I haven't really listened to a ton of your broadcasts because I'm always at the games. I don't mean it in a bad way. Just like I see the game and I'll hear your clips. I know all that. It was interesting to watch them work. It was a fucking great experience. I mean, I feel, I really do. I can't say this enough that if you had a chance to go and you didn't go and you're a real fan, you are missing out on an unbelievable fucking experience. The basketball is really good live.
Number one for me,
It's
number
the best.
one live KMS. It just
It's the best.
I'm with you. Kane, great segue into my final questions. This is mostly for Josh and James. Kirk wants you guys calling this game. Are you guys going to call the game if asked?
James?
I'll let Josh go.
Oh,
Josh,
wow.
go ahead.
We're both
There he is.
like,
It's great.
we are
I love it.
1,000% in.
1,000%. And let me ask for the rest of the people here. If we were all asked to do the same roles, is everybody in? August 4th,
1,000%.
Monday, 7:30.
Absolutely.
I would do this if my mother
got
passed
changed,
away.
right?
I'd
It
skip
got
the funeral
changed
to
to
do
the
this. I'm
28th.
telling you, man. This is
It
huge.
got
Yeah, it's the
changed.
28th now.
Yeah, it's the 28th.
Oh, I'm sorry,
July.
28. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
changed it.
So would each of us be open to hitting Milton's and buying a sport coat a la, ABC Sports and wearing a KMS, KMS Sports, whatever it be, but a blazer for this next game? It's
And
kind
I'll
of like
follow your
go
lead.
back to the 70s.
I'll
Yeah,
trust
I got to
your-
pick up my suit there in the next couple weeks anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Ted, you got something big coming
Throw a
up.
little patch
You
on
put
there.
that together, I'll definitely
Right?
do it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right, so that's if we're fortunate enough, right? And just a couple of things that I was going to wrap up with. As far as the Steve from Gloucester non-invite, all I can say is I'm an observer. I'm not here to give my opinion. I'm just saying what I saw. I did hear talk about let's go to wherever that place was. There was talk about people getting together to go to wherever they were going. I don't know if anybody was specifically excluded, but there was definitely talk on the court about going out to grab a bite to eat.
And
Yeah, I
also,
never
Tim,
heard any of that.
Steve could have just
Post-coitus
as
wrap-up.
easily just went home and made up that he didn't know. I mean, it's possible.
Oh, come on.
I'm not
He would've
saying that
loved
he
to have
did
been
that. I'm
there.
saying he's a little older, but he's getting up there. He's in his 40s. He might be a little tired. He's, I'm going to fucking go home.
Yeah,
man.
everybody was pumped full of adrenaline.
I know. I
All right,
get it.
Yeah.
It's
And the
definitely
last
understandable.
thing, I'll just add my own personal elation. When I was just filming Kirk, he was talking to Cinema's family, who it was incredible to see. They were crying. They were so grateful. They're so happy. They just seemed like such nice people, and they were just so grateful to Kirk for everything that he had done. It was so nice to see, and the mom and dad couldn't stop giving hugs, and I think his girlfriend was there, the sister, and I think Kevin's wife. Just really beautiful moment. And for me, I wasn't listening. That's really not. I'm just there to film it. But I did hear one thing, and I heard Cinema's dad saying something to Kirk about playing again. He said, "I'm retired. In fact, I just threw my sneakers in the trash. I got fucking rock hard." And I was turning around looking to see if I could find any one of you guys or maybe even Justin to just come over and hold the camera until everybody left the studio. Because my first thought was, I can't let someone else get those sneakers. No one else knew they were in the trash but Mutt. And that was my first
going to
thought.
be awesome. It's going to be fucking
As soon as
awesome.
Kirk was done talking to the parents, I stopped recording and I beelined it into that locker room, and there they were sitting in the trash bin. And I think I filmed taking them out, putting them on a chair. And
Honestly, Tim, that's
me,
terrific instincts.
I mean, you got to just listen. You just got to be observant. Like I always say, proximity is my biggest strength. So it's just being in the area, and that to me just was perfect. So it's a great addition to the museum. But that moment to me just said it all. What I just seen the family and how touched they were and how happy they were. Just that was everything. So I really understood what Kirk was trying to do, and to see it to come to fruition was just freaking cherry on the top. A+, a life memory.
Absolutely.
Can I just say one thing before we go? The cinema chance, I'll never forget ever.
That's
Awesome.
Yeah, that was great. How could you not get into that? And that was the crowd. That was the crowd starting to chant cinema, and his parents was in there. Just, man, I would have been so overwhelmed by that. Boys, thanks a ton for jumping on tonight. It's great to reminisce about such an awesome event. Like Kirk had said, that's it for us too. So hopefully we'll be around for, at least we'll be there as fans for the next one, but love to help out. And looking forward to the next game when he puts those crybabies in their place and just shuts Portnoy up. Oh, I can't wait.
We should get a Josh Cinema before we go.
What's that?
We should get a Josh Cinema before we go.
Cinema.
so good.
See you in the metaverse. Thanks, boys.
Thanks.
See you guys.